All right, let me welcome my guests on the show. Joseph Hoover, cricket writer, joins us. Chandresh Narayanan, author and sports broadcaster, also joins us, as well as Lokesh Jindal, political analyst. Good evening and namaskar to all of you. Lokesh Jindal, can I start with you and ask you what you think of this entire controversy? There is understandable outrage that is happening right now when we've cut off ties with them culturally. Why should we go ahead with sports? There's an argument, though, that sports athletes, sports persons are cultural ambassadors. They are ambassadors of peace. But the question is, do we need ambassadors of peace with Pakistan at the moment?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Before I begin, let's get certain facts right. Since 2013, India has not had any bilateral series with Pakistan. So, with respect to India and Pakistan, the BCCI has not been having any form of direct bilateral conduct with the PCB. And it shall continue this. I mean, the BCCI has clearly stated this. Now, with respect to the Asia Cup that is scheduled, India is a member of ICC. There is a legal contract under the participating member nation whereby India is required to send the best team under clause 5.1. Now, if somebody argues that after Operation Sindoor, India must withdraw itself from ICC's league because Pakistan is playing over there, this is absolutely bizarre. It's illogical. Now, we are going to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meet in Tiananmen, whereby Pakistan is also going to participate over there. Now, we cannot pursue this form of a policy that we shall be boycotting every event and every platform wherever wherever Pakistan is participating. This is absolutely nonsense.
Why not? Why not, Lokesh? Let me get in Joseph Hoover in this. Why is it not, possible for India to have this approach every time we're dealing with Pakistan? Because they clearly have one approach towards India, and that is of terrorism. Joseph Hoover.
See, at the outset, I should say, as a citizen, I'm very confused. I don't know what my country wants. I don't know what my BCCI wants. They want money, or they want people's happiness, peace. I'm pretty ashamed at what the BCCI has done. I'm pretty astonished that the government of India has agreed that we play Pakistan. A couple of our guest speakers spoke about cricket. I mean, sports and politics should be separate. But when we are being hammered time and again by terrorists, it's time that we also step in and say, sorry, this has to stop. Now, there are two things that I like to bring to your viewers. I spoke to a former colonel, Colonel Srinivasan, a former Ranji Trophy player who represented services. So I asked his sentiments, and he was only echoing the sentiments of all his other army personnel. He said, we should not be playing. Do these politicians, these analysts understand what our army personnel go through? They are the ones at the border. They are the ones who are getting smashed. And those innocent people are being killed. And here we sit down and say sports and politics should not be mixed. And I'm quite surprised that Saurav Ganguly said cricket should go on, terrorism stop. How does terrorism stop? We are the one giving them money. The matches get them good revenue. And they sponsor the terrorists. And Saurav comes and says sports should go on. He was a former BCCI president. He's a former India captain. He should also understand that some of his former colleagues, like Suresh Raina, Shikhar Dhawan, Harbhajan Singh, and the Yusuf Pathan and Irfan Pathan withdrew from a tournament, Legends tournament in UK, because we were playing Pakistan.
Yeah.
So you should understand that. And for people to sit here, politicians to sit and talk about saying that cricket and politics should not be mixed, how long? We also long for peace. We want happiness. We want Pakistan to be a good neighbor. But if they are sponsoring terrorists and killing our people and we are sacrificing our soldiers for their benefit, I say sorry. I'm very disappointed. As a citizen, I feel ashamed. This is what I would have to.
Okay, Chandresh Narayanan, come in on this. I also have an issue with using the word politics. Sports and politics should not be mixed. It's actually sports and national security that is mixing at the moment, and this is not about politics. This is really about national issue, national security, and the dignity of our citizens, the safety of our citizens. What is your take on whether this should be happening or not?
I think we need to have a firm national policy on this. We can't have a situation where you have volleyball teams playing against each other, you have tennis playing against each other, you have bridge teams going there, you have a mixed tennis team playing or a girls tennis team playing in some tournament somewhere. In every other sport, it's okay.
Yeah.
Nationalism and everything else related to Deshbhakti is restricted only to cricket. Why should cricket bear the brunt for everybody? Cricket is not the only sport. What about the other sport? The logic given is that the other sports are not popular enough, so we will not focus on them. So only target the cricket fraternity. Now my point is, we are talking about Asia Cup. Why was there no outrage when the schedule was announced for the Women's World Cup? India and Pakistan women's team are supposed to play in Colombo. That is kosher, that is fine. Why was there no outrage? Again, the onus of proving or testing somebody's nationalist patriotism and everything is only restricted to the men's cricket team and men's cricket. There is no national policy on that. I think, Shreya, there's one more thing that we are all missing is the fact that if India wants to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games and the 2036 Olympic Games, we have to be playing Pakistan rightly or wrongly, unfortunately or fortunately, because in the international opinion, we will be then isolated. We already had a situation in shooting where in Delhi we didn't give visas to the Pakistani shooters. The IOC turned around and said, if you do this again, we will get no international tournaments. The same is the case with hockey. So this, we have to be prepared to say we are letting go of an opportunity to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games, 2036 Olympic Games, and form a firm national policy that we will have nothing to do with Pakistan. I'll give you one more example before you go to other guests. The ongoing test match in Manchester, one of the on-field umpires is a Pakistani umpire. Do we boycott the match because it's a Pakistani umpire? What happens in that case? Yesterday's play or day before yesterday's play, the bell rung at the ground was rung by Wasim Akram, the former Pakistan captain. Where do we draw the line? Just because it was rung, we will not go onto the field. We need to have a firm national policy. You can't put the onus of proving nationalism and patriotism on the poor cricketers. Always. The Legends League, now how would they look? You are playing, the women's team is playing against Pakistan women. You have the men's team playing against the Pakistan men. But the legends have to prove their nationalism.
Yeah.
This is
Joseph
wrong.
Hoover, coming on this, these are the two arguments that are given. One, of course, is the revenue. And even if we keep aside the revenue, there are livelihoods that are dependent on a game that is as popular as cricket in this country. There is, of course, the ICC guidelines that you have to meet as a country to host tournaments in the future. How do you go around that?
I mean, I accept what Chandresh Narayanan was saying, but I also have an argument. I have a counter. Now, if you say that we want to host this game so that we have to comply and accept Pakistan participating in that, where is the patriotism? Where are we? Are we going to say that lives don't matter? That the life of a soldier is not that important? So you're going to say, just to accommodate Pakistan to play, that we agree to the Olympic Charter? No way. We have to stop sometime. As earlier in the previous show, Vedam Jaishankar rightly said, Russia was being stopped. They just send their team without any representation. Just somebody goes and represents without any national flag, nothing. So I think there's a time when we need to understand, like Chandresh Narayan was saying, somebody rang the bell, somebody's umpiring. Those are individuals. This is a country versus country. And we have had terrorists come into Pahalgam and kill 26 of our people. Thereafter, there's been a war, full-blown war, and then it stops suddenly because of political reasons. And then this goes on and on just because sports has to be accommodated, that we want to host the 2036 Olympics. Is that bigger than our own people's lives? I don't agree with that.
I completely agree with Joseph, and I completely agree with what he's saying. But what I'm saying is that we need a firm national policy. You can't have one policy for other sports and one policy for cricket. Now, I'll give you one small example. If we have to take a firm national stand, in 1974, Davis Cup final, opted not to play South Africa because we were against apartheid in South Africa. And we let go of an opportunity to win Davis Cup back in 1974. Can we as a nation today say we are letting go of an opportunity to play Pakistan in an ICC cricket tournament, whether they play us in semi-final, final, quarter-final, league match or whatever it is, let go of those 2 points. What is more important is our national honor and national respect. If we as a nation are able to form a firm national policy that, okay, you want us to host the Olympics, then we will forfeit our games against Pakistan. Are we as a nation ready to do that? If we are, then I fully support that move.
Okay.
I am of the firm opinion that cricket should not bear the burden of being the only sport to take the nationalistic route. Every other sport should pass that litmus test. Why should cricket only be the one to take a stand?
Sure.
Other sports get away because in the garb of not being that popular. That is just not good enough.
No, but it's also because cricket enjoys that sort of revenue as well. It enjoys that sort of popularity as well.
That is double standards. That is absolute double standards.
It is also because this country doesn't pay much attention to other sports, but that is a different debate.
But you don't question the...
Lokesh Jindal, why can't we as a country just put our foot down at various international fora and say, look, we have to isolate Pakistan globally, even in sports, because they are emanating terror from their soil against us, and that's why other countries or other, agencies also need to stand up for that.
Well, Shreya, India has done a fabulous job. The Resistance Front, it has been designated as a terrorist organization. And diplomatically, India has reached out to various forums in G7, G20, and now in the SCO. India has, on relevant forums, exposed Pakistan, and it has been doing isolating Pakistan diplomatically. But sports as a whole, India has been a responsible state actor. It has an international stature. You cannot compare India to nations such as Pakistan and others who do not have any international credibility. Now, India, which is hoping for contesting the Olympics, India that is bidding for the Commonwealth game, has to set an example. It has to show very well that it is keeping politics, sports, and cultures apart.
The argument is, why can't the other countries in the world set an example that, look, we can keep condemning terrorism? Why can't you just condemn and isolate a country that is actually originating terrorism?
Shreya, that's absolutely right. Now, we, in order to put that pressure, if India withdraws from the Asia Cup, my question is, if tomorrow India takes a decision that we are not going to play the Asia Cup because Pakistan is playing over here, or we kill the entire spirit of cricket in our country just because Pakistan is playing. Tomorrow World Cup, Pakistan is playing, and we withdraw from it. So is it going to benefit us, or diplomatically, is it going to gain our nation in any way? The answer is no. We don't have any bilateral series with Pakistan. We do not have any relation with the PCB on a one-on-one front. And that's the right thing to do. We are continuing with that. But putting up a pressure that BCCI must not participate in any event where Pakistan is playing amongst all other countries, this would be something unwise. It won't be something that would be appreciated internationally. Rather, India's credibility would be harmed with this form of a stand.
Okay, Chandresh, quickly make your point.
I just think that we need a firm national policy. I am of the firm opinion that if tomorrow the government says that you should not be seen on the same platform with Pakistan, see, technically speaking, because you want to be seen as the big global sports player, you're not able to get everybody on board. You take a stand.
Yeah.
As a country, take a stand that we are ready to forfeit. Are we as a nation okay to forfeit cricket points? I want to ask everyone watching the broadcast right now. We should be able to say we are ready to forfeit our points at ICC events. We are ready to forfeit our points at Asia Cup. We are ready to forfeit our right to host an ICC event just because Pakistan is going to be a part of that tournament. We put our foot down and say we will not be in the same group as Pakistan in any ICC event or ACC event. Will all of us as a collective, as a nation, be okay with that? And at the same time, we need to take a stand on other sports. They get away because of the fact that nobody is paying attention to them. That is just not good enough. That is just not good enough. You can't just keep asking cricketers to take a stand and cricket as a sport to take a stand.
Okay.
Others, everyone as a country, we have to take a stand.
Absolutely. I think we will have to draw that new red line in sports as well, as we have in the kind of response we give to terror emanating from Pakistani soil. I'll leave it there. Thanks very much to all of you, gentlemen, Joseph, Chandresh, as well as Lokesh, for sharing your thoughts. We will, of course, have to see how this, pans out, ladies and gentlemen. But the one voice that is coming out from the entire country today is that we need to have a common policy towards dealing with Pakistan, whether it's culturally or in sports or politically. We'll leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. News and updates will continue on Times Now.